Today we will start with a new lesson in Geography, Unit 4, Resources and Industries. We have already seen about resources and also industries. We know resources are naturally available wealth that can be used to satisfy human needs. For example, water is a resource, soil is also a resource. So these are available naturally and they are used to satisfy the human needs. So they are called as resources. Industries. We know in industry we convert the raw material into useful products. In this lesson, we will see about the resources and industries in India in detail. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the resources and its types, what is meant by renewable and non-renewable resources, the different types of industries and the distribution of industries in India, and also analyze the problem of Indian industries. Introduction. First, we will see the definition for natural resources. Any matter or energy derived from the environment that is used by living things including humans is called natural resources. That is, any matter or energy that is available in the environment, and if it is found useful to the living things or humans, then it is said to be a natural resource. For example, air, water, soil, minerals, fossil fuels, plants, wildlife, etc. All these are said to be natural resources. Many natural resources are used as raw materials. For example, sugarcane is used as a raw material in sugar industry. Wood is used as a raw material in paper industry. And cotton from the cotton tree is used as a raw material in making fabric. They play a vital role in economic development of any region. That is, the economic development of any region depends on the availability of these natural resources. Based on the availability, the resources are categorized into two types: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are those which can be replaced immediately. For example, solar energy, wind energy, biogas, tidal energy, wave energy, etc. are the examples of renewable resources. These resources are called as renewable because they can be regenerated after their utilization. Non-renewable resources are the sources that cannot be replaced again after utilization. For example, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. fall under this category. We have also studied that soil is also a non-renewable resource because it cannot be replaced immediately and it takes millions of years for the formation of 2 inch of soil. Minerals. Minerals is a natural substance of organic or inorganic origin, which means if the minerals are said to be formed from the prehistoric plants and animals or fossils, then it is said to have the organic origin, or else it is said to have the inorganic origin with definite chemical and physical properties. So each type of minerals have their own chemical and physical properties. In other words, minerals are explained as follows. Mineral is a solid chemical compound that occurs naturally in pure form. It occurs naturally in pure form, or it is also found associated with rocks. These rocks may consist of one type of mineral or a combination of two or different types of minerals. I'll repeat. A mineral is a solid chemical compound that occurs naturally in pure form. The minerals are found either in pure form or it is found in association with the rocks, that is within the rocks. These rocks may contain one type of mineral or a combination of two or more different types of minerals. The process of extracting mineral from the earth is known as mining. That is, opening in the ground for the purpose of extracting minerals is called as mining. The mines near the earth crust are known as open pit mines. That is, if the mines are found in lesser depth near the earth crust, then it is said to be open pit mines. If the mines are found deep inside the ground, then it is said to be the shaft mines. Types of minerals. On the basis of chemical and physical properties, minerals are broadly grouped into two categories. They are metallic and non-metallic minerals. Before going into this topic, that is the type of minerals, we will have a short glimpse on the notes below. The organizations associated with minerals in India are, that is, the organizations which are responsible for the administration of all the minerals and mines in India are Geological Survey of India, which has its headquarters at Kolkata, and second one is Indian Bureau of Mines, which has its headquarters at Nagpur, and the third one is Non-Ferrous Material Technology Development Center, NFTDC, which is located at Hyderabad. All these organizations are responsible for the administration of all mines and minerals in India, according to the Development and Regulation Act 1957. Metallic minerals. As the name suggests, metallic minerals are the minerals which contains one or more metallic elements in them. These metallic minerals usually occur as mineral deposits, which means they naturally occur as accumulation or concentrations of metals or minerals. These metallic minerals are a good conductor of heat and electricity. These deposits consist of a variety of valuable metals such as iron, manganese, copper, bauxite, nickel, zinc, lead, gold, etc. We will see in detail about some of these metallic minerals. Iron ore. First we have to understand what is meant by an ore. Ore is a rock with deposits of one or more precious minerals. That is, an ore contains one or more precious minerals. We know that metallic minerals contains one or more elements of metals. So the following minerals such as magnetite, hematite, goethite, limonite, siderite, these minerals are metallic minerals which contains more content of iron. So magnetite contains about 72.4% of iron content in it. Hematite contains 69.9% of iron content in it. So the rocks or the ores which contains one of these metallic minerals are called as iron ore. It is called as iron ore the because of the presence of the metallic minerals such as magnetite, hematite, goethite, limonite and siderite. These metallic minerals have the highest percentage of iron content in it. So they are called as iron ores. The ores which contains these minerals are called as iron ore. Iron ores are rocks and minerals from which metallic iron can be economically extracted. The ores are usually rich in iron oxides and vary in color from dark grey, bright yellow or deep purple to rusty red. Iron ore is the most widely distributed element of the Earth's crust. Rarely occurs in free state. So this iron ore is widely distributed element and it rarely occurs in free state because it is mostly found in composition with many rocks and minerals and especially in the igneous and metamorphic rocks. The total recoverable reserves of iron ore in India, which means the proportion of resources that can be extracted are about 9,602 million tons of hematite and 3,408 million tons of magnetite. We know that magnetite has the maximum content of iron in it and hematite has about 69.9% of iron content in it. Now we will see the distribution of these ore in India. About 79% of hematite deposits are found in Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. About 93% of magnetite deposits occur in Andhra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In that, Karnataka alone contributes about 72% of magnetite deposits of India. The states which are the leading producers of iron ore in India are Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Jharkhand is the leading producer of iron ore with 25% of the country's production. The following districts of Jharkhand are the major producers of iron ore. They are Singhbhum, Hazaribagh, Dhanbad and Ranchi. Next to Jharkhand comes the state Odisha with 21% production and it ranks second. The following districts of Odisha are the major producers of iron ore. They are Sundargarh, Mayurbhanj, Sambalpur and Keonjhar. The magnetite production of Chhattisgarh is 18% and the districts involved in magnetite production are Rajgarh and Bilaspur. The Karnataka is 20% and the districts which are the major producers in Karnataka are Chikmagalur, Chitradurga, Shimoga and Dharwad. Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu produce about 5% each. The districts of Andhra Pradesh which are the major producers of iron ore are Kurnool, Guntur, Kadapa and Anandapur. In Tamil Nadu, the districts like Salem, Namakkal, Tiruvannamalai, Tiruchirappalli, Coimbatore, Madurai, and Tirunelveli districts are the major producers of iron ore. SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. It is an steel making company based in New Delhi, India. It is a public sector undertaking owned and operated by the Government of India. SAIL is the 20th largest steel producer in the world and the third largest in India. The Ministry of Steel is an executive branch agency of the Government of India that is responsible for formulating all policies regarding steel production, distribution, and pricing in India. That is, the Ministry of Steel is responsible for planning and development of iron and steel industry in India. Manganese. Manganese is a silvery gray element. It is very hard and brittle in nature. Brittle means hard but liable to break easily. That is, even though it is hard, it is easily breakable. Manganese is not found as a free element in nature. It is often found in combination with iron, laterite, and other materials. It is an important mineral used for making iron and steel and serves as a basic raw material for alloying. Alloying means combining two or more metals in order to form a new metal, which is more stronger and corrosion resistant. Nearly 10 kg of manganese is required for manufacturing 1 ton of steel. Manganese is also used in the manufacturing of bleaching powder, insecticides, paints, and batteries. MOIL, Manganese Ore India Limited. It is a state-owned manganese ore mining company headquartered in Nagpur with a market share of 50%. It was the largest producer of manganese ore in India. Manganese deposits occur mainly as metamorphosed bedded sedimentary deposits. That means the base is a metamorphic rock and the crust layer, that is the top covering, is a thin layer of sedimentary deposits. The largest deposits of manganese is found in Odisha with 44% and followed by Karnataka with 22%. Third comes Madhya Pradesh with 12%, followed by Maharashtra and Goa with 7% each. Andhra Pradesh contributes 4% and Jharkhand with 2%. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Telangana and West Bengal together constitute about 2% of the India's manganese resource. Nagpur, Bandara and Ratnagiri districts in Maharashtra, Balaghat and Chhindwara districts in Madhya Pradesh are the leading producers. Odisha is the third largest producer with 24%. Sundargarh, Kalahanti, Koraput, Bolangir and districts are the major ones. The other producers are Andhra Pradesh, which constitute 13%, and Karnataka with 6%. Srikakulam, Visakhapatnam, Kadapa, and Guntur districts in Andhra Pradesh. The districts of Shimoga, Bellary, Chitradurga, and Tumkur are the important districts of Karnataka. It is the most important mineral for making iron and steel. India is the fifth largest producer of manganese in the world. Copper. Copper is the first metal that prehistoric man has started using for many purposes. So copper is being used from ancient times. Because of its flexibility, it can be used to make utensils of any shape. Copper has been commonly used for making cooking utensils and other objects of common utility, especially the electrical wires. Because of its flexible nature, it can be easily drawn into wire, and it is an excellent conductor of electricity. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. That is, brass, the metal brass is made by combining copper with zinc, and bronze is formed by combining copper with tin. So we already know that alloy means combining two or more metals in order to form a new metal which is of greater strength and corrosion resistant. So therefore here we have combined copper and zinc to form brass, and copper and tin are combined together to form bronze. In modern days, copper is used extensively in vast variety of electrical machinery, wires and cables. Largest reserves of copper ore is in the state of Rajasthan, followed by Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh. So nowadays, copper is used in most of the electrical machineries and also in wires. Even in our houses, storing water in a copper vessel is becoming a trend. So, the purpose of storing water in a copper vessel is that it purifies the water naturally. It kills all the microorganisms, fungi, algae, and bacteria present in the water. So, nowadays, people have started our traditional method of storing water in copper vessels. The state of Rajasthan stands first with the largest reserves of copper ore, and it is followed by Jharkhand with 19.54%, and which is followed by Madhya Pradesh with 18.75%. The states of Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Odisha, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttarakhand, and West Bengal account for 7.9% of the total copper reserves of India. Jharkhand is the largest producer of copper with 62% of India's production. The districts of Jharkhand, which are leading producers of copper, are Singhbhum and Hazaribagh. Odisha is the second major producer of copper with 50.2% production. Rajasthan ranks third with 28% production. The districts of Rajasthan, which are notable producers of copper, are Khetri, Alwar, and Bhilwara. The states of Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu contributes about 7% of production each. Hindustan Copper Limited is a government-owned corporation in the central public sector enterprise under the Ministry of Mines, India. HCL is the only vertically integrated copper producer in India, which is engaged in a wide spectrum of activities ranging from mining, beneficiation, smelting, refining, and continuous cast rod manufacturing. Beneficiation is the process that improves the economic value of the ore by removing the unwanted minerals. Smelting is the process of applying heat to ore in order to extract a base metal, and refining is the process of purification. So, all these activities, such as mining, beneficiation, smelting, refining, and continuous cast rod manufacturing, all these activities are carried out under one roof of Hindustan Copper Limited. Bauxite. Bauxite is a rock formed from a reddish clay material called laterite soil and is most commonly found in tropical and subtropical region. Bauxite is an important ore from which aluminium is extracted. Bauxite is found in the rocks consisting mainly of hydrated aluminum oxides. Being light in weight and tough, aluminum is used in the manufacture of aircrafts and automobile engines. Because of its lightweight and toughness, that is, being hard, aluminum is used in the manufacture of aircrafts and automobile engines. Bauxite is also used in the manufacture of cement and chemicals. The main bauxite deposits occur in Odisha with 50.2%. Gujarat stands second with 15.8% in bauxite deposits. The districts of Gujarat which has the bauxite deposits are Junagadh, Amreli and Bhavnagar districts. Jharkhand stands third with 11.9%, and the districts of Jharkhand are Ranchi and Gumila. Maharashtra constitutes 9.9%, and the districts of Maharashtra which has the bauxite deposits are Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri. Chhattisgarh constitutes 6.2%, and the districts of Chhattisgarh which has the bauxite deposits are Ballarpur and Durg districts, and Tamil Nadu constitutes 2.7% of bauxite deposits. Bauxite is an oxide of aluminium. The name has been derived after the French word "le box". Orissa is the largest producer of bauxite in India with approximately 1,370.5 million tons. India's state and central government is very supportive in production of bauxite and other industrial minerals in the states of Orissa, Jharkhand and Tamil Nadu. National Aluminium Company Limited, abbreviated as NALCO, NALCO, has units in Odisha at places like Angul and Damanjodi. It was incorporated as a public sector enterprise of the Ministry of Mines, Government of India in 1981. Non-metallic minerals. In the metallic minerals, we saw about iron ore, copper, manganese and bauxite. Metallic minerals are minerals which have one or more metal elements in them. But the non-metallic minerals do not contain any metal substances in them. Non-metallic minerals are basically good insulators of heat and electricity, whereas copper, which is a metallic mineral, is a good conductor of electricity. Non-metallic minerals lack in ductility, that is, they are not flexible and they can break down easily. Some of the non-metallic minerals are mica, limestone, gypsum, nitrate, potash, coal, petroleum, etc. Mica. Mica is a naturally occurring non-metallic mineral that is based on a collection of silicates. Mica is a very good insulator that has a wide range of applications in electrical and electronic industries. In ancient time, mica was used in Ayurvedic medicine. Mica became very popular with the development of electrical industry. Abrak is a good quality mica. Mica is translucent, which means it is transparent, easily splittable into thin sheets. It is flat, colorless, elastic, and cannot be compressed. Mica is used in making of insulating properties because it is a non-conductor of electricity and therefore it can withstand high voltage and has low power loss factor. That is, it reduces the wastage of power. So, therefore, it is exclusively used in electrical goods. It is also used in making lubricants, medicines, paints, and varnishes. The major deposits of mica are found in Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha, and Jharkhand. In Andhra Pradesh, it constitutes about 41% of mica deposits, and the major districts which has the mica deposits in Andhra are Nellore, Visakhapatnam, West Godavari, and Krishna. West Godavari and Krishna are the coastal districts in Andhra Pradesh. In Rajasthan, the districts which has the mica deposits are Bhilwara, Jaipur, and Ajmer. And in Odisha, the districts which has the mica deposits are Rayagada, Bolangir, and Sundargarh. Dhanbad, Palamu, Ranchi, and Singhbum are the districts which has the major mica mines in Jharkhand state. Limestone. Limestone is a form of sedimentary rock that consists mainly of calcium that was deposited by the remains of marine animals. So, limestone is a sedimentary rock that mainly consists of calcium. Limestone is composed of either calcium carbonate or the double carbonate of calcium and magnesium or mixture of both. These are the main constituents in the limestone. Apart from this, limestone also contains small quantities of silica, alumina, iron oxides, phosphorus, and sulfur. Since limestone is comparatively softer than other natural stone, it is used mostly in building constructions. Limestone is also used in the industries of chemicals for soda ash, caustic soda, bleaching powder, paper, cement, iron and steel, glass, and fertilizers. The major producing areas of limestone are Andhra Pradesh. It produces about 20% with major concentration in Kadapa, Kurnool, and Guntur districts. In Telangana, it accounts for about 20% of the country's production, with the districts of Nalgonda, Adilabad, Warangal, and Karimnagar as the major producers. Rajasthan produces about 18%, and the districts in Rajasthan are Jodhpur, Ajmer, Bikaner, and Kota districts, which has the limestone production in it. Madhya Pradesh constitutes about 12%, and the districts of Madhya Pradesh which has the limestone productions are Jabalpur and Satna districts. Tamil Nadu constitutes about 8.4% of limestone. Salem, Kanchipuram, Tiruchirappalli, Thoothukudi, Tirunelveli and Virudhunagar districts are the major districts of limestone production. In terms of the reserves of limestone, that is the quarries from which stone is obtained by digging, cutting or blasting of the pit. The state of Karnataka leads with 27% followed by Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan, constituting 12% each. Gujarat with 10% and Meghalaya with 9%, Telangana with 8%, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh constitute 5% each, and the remaining by other states. Gypsum. Gypsum is a hydrated sulfate of calcium which occurs as white, opaque or transparent minerals in beds of sedimentary rocks such as limestone, sandstone and shale. That is, gypsum is a widely distributed mineral consisting of hydrated sulfate of calcium. It is usually in white, opaque or transparent mineral found in the beds of sedimentary rocks such as limestone, sandstone and shale. Gypsum is used in the manufacture of cement, fertilizers, wall boards, plaster of Paris and in soil conditioning. The state of Rajasthan alone accounts for 81% of its reserves. 14% of its reserves is found in Jammu and Kashmir and 2% in Tamil Nadu. The remaining 3% resources are found in the states of Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Rajasthan produces 82% of the country's production. Jodhpur, Bikaner, Jaisalmer are the notable districts of Rajasthan. Jammu and Kashmir produces 14% of country's gypsum. Baramulla, Doda and Uri districts are the major producers of gypsum. The state of Gujarat, Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu are the other producers with about 4% each. So we have completed with the metallic and non-metallic minerals. Under the metallic minerals we have saw about iron ore, copper, manganese and bauxite. Under the non-metallic minerals we saw about limestone, mica and gypsum. In order to remember the states and districts of production of various minerals, you have to make a tabular column. So as you can see, most of the states and districts are repeated. So if you make a tabular column, it will be easy for you to find the common places and make a comparison while learning. In the lesson Resources and Industries, the next topic we are going to see about is energy resources. The resources from which electricity is generated are called as energy resources. We know already that resources are the naturally available wealth which are used to satisfy human needs. So here the naturally available wealth such as coal, petroleum, air, water, etc. are used in producing electricity. Energy means it is the ability to do work. So in order to operate any electrical equipments or machineries, we need electricity. So therefore, the resources from which the electricity is generated are called as energy resources. Energy resources. The resources from which the electricity is generated are called as energy resources. Electricity is an important component of our life. No day-to-day activities takes place without the use of this energy. Starting from the home appliances to the machineries that we use in industries runs with the help of the electricity. It is also the key factor for all economic activities and industrial development. Energy resources can be classified into two types: renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Resources which can be renewed or replaced by nature in a short span of time are called as renewable energy. Example for renewable energy are water, sunlight, wind, biogas, tides, etc. are the sources of renewable energy. Non-renewable energy. Those resources that cannot be replaced by nature, or if it takes a very long time to be formed again, then those resources are said to be non-renewable. Example: coal, petroleum, natural gas and nuclear minerals are the sources of non-renewable energy. For example, now we will see shortly how the coal and natural gas was formed. Fossil fuels are natural fuels formed from the remains of living organisms. Coal is made from dead plant matter. When these plants die, they are decayed and they are compressed at high temperature and pressure over millions of years, which leads to the formation of coal. And petroleum and natural gases were formed from the dead marine animals. Non-renewable resources. We saw about what is meant by non-renewable resource. That is, the resources which cannot be replaced by nature, or if it takes a very long geological time to be formed again, then it is said to be a non-renewable resource. Under this non-renewable resource, first we will see about coal. Coal is formed over millions of years. This means that once it is used up, it is gone forever and cannot be replaced. So, coal is said to be a non-renewable resource. Coal is formed from the fossil fuels, and after compressing at high temperature and pressure, coal is formed over millions of years. So it took millions of years for the formation of coal. So therefore it is a non-renewable resource. Coal is an inflammable organic substance composed mainly of hydrocarbons. Inflammable means which can easily set to fire. So coal is an inflammable organic substance which is composed of mainly hydrocarbons. Coal is available in the form of sedimentary rocks. It is used in the generation of thermal power. Thermal power means it is a process in which the heat energy is converted into electrical power. So here, through the process of burning of coal, electric power is generated. Coal has a close association with the industrial development of any country, since it generates the electricity which is required by the industries. So therefore, it is closely related to the industrial development of any country. Since it is a valuable one, it is called as black gold. Coal is also called as black gold. Based on the carbon content present in the coal is classified into the following types. First one, anthracite. If the coal contains 80 to 90% of carbon, then the coal is of superior quality and it is named as anthracite. And if the coal contains 60 to 80 percentage of carbon, then the coal is said to be bituminous. If the coal contains 40 to 60 percentage of carbon content in it, then it is lignite. If the coal contains less than 40 percentage of carbon content in it, then it is a peat. So therefore the quality of the coal depends on the percentage of carbon content in it. Coal is an important source of energy in India with its varied and innumerable uses. Coal can be converted into gas, oil, electricity, and thermal power, which means the heat energy. Besides, it also forms as a basic raw material for the production of chemicals, dyes, fertilizers, paints, and explosives. Indian coal is mostly associated with Gondwana series of rocks and is primarily found in Peninsular India. Gondwana series of rocks was originated from the Gond region of Madhya Pradesh. 98% of coal in India is found in this region. These rocks have been formed between the Carboniferous and Jurassic period, that is, millions of years ago. The states of Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, and Madhya Pradesh alone account for nearly 90% of coal reserves of the country. About 2% of India's coal is of tertiary type and is found mostly in Assam and Jammu and Kashmir. If the coal has about 40 to 60 percentage of carbon content in it, then the coal is said to be of tertiary type. Whereas the Gondwana coal is mainly bituminous or anthracite, in which the carbon content varies between 60 to 90 percentage. Jharkhand is the largest coal producing state in the country, followed by Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Maharashtra. The districts of these states in which the coal fields are located are given below. The major coal fields of Jharkhand are Bokaro, North Karanpura, South Karanpura, Giridih, Ramgarh, Daltonganj, and Rajmahal, Talcher and Ranapur in Odisha, Korba and Chirmiri in Chhattisgarh, Umaria and Singrauli in Madhya Pradesh, Tandur, Singareni and Kotagundam and Ramagundam in Andhra Pradesh, Wardha, Balarpur, Chanda and Kambatti in Maharashtra, and Raniganj, Asansol and Mejia in West Bengal are the other major coal fields of India. Indian lignite, which is also called as brown coal. These Indian lignite deposits occur in the southern and western parts of peninsular India, particularly in Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Kerala. That is, the Indian lignite deposits are found in the southern part of India in the states of Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Kerala. Ministry of Coal has overall responsibility of determining policies and strategies in respect of exploration and development of coal resource in India. That is, the Ministry of Coal has the overall control of exploration and development of coal resource in India. Coal India Limited, CIL, and NLC India Limited, NLCIL, and Singareni Collieries Company Limited, SCCL, are its public sector undertakings. That is, these coal mining companies are government owned corporations. CIL, that is the Coal India Limited, is an Indian state controlled coal mining company which has its headquarters in Kolkata in the state of West Bengal. The field offices of CIL are located at Dhanbad, Ranchi, Bilaspur, Nagpur, Sambalpur, Kotagundam and Asansol. CIL is the largest coal producing company in the world. Petroleum or crude oil. Crude oil means unrefined petroleum. The word petroleum has been derived from two Latin words, petrol, which means rock, and oleum, which means oil. Thus, petroleum is obtained from rocks of the earth. Therefore, it is also called as mineral oil. In this picture, you can see how the petroleum was formed. That is, in ocean, 300 to 400 million years ago, tiny marine plants and animals died and they were buried on the ocean floor. And over millions of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. Due to the heavy pressure and heat, they turned into oil and natural gas. Thus, today we drill down through the layers of sand and rock to reach the rock formation that contains oil and natural gas deposits. We know that petroleum is an inflammable liquid, that is, it easily set to fire, and it is composed of mainly hydrocarbons, about 90 to 95 percentage. So petroleum is mainly composed of hydrocarbons which constitute about 90 to 95 percentage, and the remaining is chiefly organic compounds containing oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur and traces of organic metallic compounds. Petroleum is used as a source of power and fuel for automobiles, aeroplanes, ships and locomotives. So we know that petrol is very essential in order to operate our automobiles and vehicles. Lubricants, kerosene, vaseline, tar, soap, terling, and wax are its byproducts. Byproducts means it is the secondary product which is obtained while manufacturing or during the production of petroleum. Oil in India is obtained from both onshore and offshore areas. Onshore means in the land surface and offshore means under the seabed. The Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, MOP and NG, is the Ministry of the Government of India. It is responsible for the exploration, production, refining, distribution, marketing, import, export, and conservation of petroleum, natural gas, petroleum products, and liquefied natural gas in India. As of 2017, the total estimated crude oil reserves of the country is 604.10 million tons. In this, about 324.24 million tons, that is about 50%, are found in the onshore. So the 54 percentage of the crude oil is obtained from the land surface, and 46 percentage of the crude oil, that is 279.86 million tons of crude oil, are obtained from the seabeds. So the graph here shows the percentage of crude oil and natural gas production in India. The production of crude oil fluctuates from year to year. So in this graph, the crude oil is represented in blue color. So you can see the fluctuations, that is the variations of the production in crude oil year to year. When you consider the first one, 2011 to 12, and to 2017 to 2018, there is a change, but it is only there is a slight variation. But the changes are invariably in negative. That is, the production keeps on decreasing. Now consider the natural gas production. Here also the trend is negative except the last year. Here also the production keeps on increasing, but in the previous year alone, that is in the year 2017 and 18, in that year alone there is a slight variation. It has increased a bit. The production of natural gas has increased slightly. The change is high in the first 3 years. In the first 3 years, you can see the changes, high changes, and in the remaining years, there is low to moderate changes in the production. Now we will see the location of oil fields, that is the offshore oil fields in India. Offshore oil fields means the oil fields which are located in the seabed. Deep holes are drilled under the seabed in order to extract oil and gas. Mumbai High Oil Field is the largest offshore oil field in India. Next comes the Gujarat coast, which is the second largest oil field, offshore oil field, and third one is the Basim oil field located in south of Mumbai High, and fourth one is Aliabad oil field, which is located at south of Bhavanagar, and fifth one is Ankaleshwar. Sixth one is Cambe, which is located at Luni region, and seventh one is Ahmedabad Kalol region. The east coast offshore fields are also given here, which is the Brahmaputra Valley, located at Dibrugarh and Sibsagar districts of Upper Assam. Next one is the Digboi oil fields, which is the oldest oil field in our country, Digboi oil fields. Next comes Nahoratia oil fields, which is located southwest of Digboi oil fields. And next one is the Moran Hagrijan oil fields, which is located southwest of Nahoratia. Next one is Rudrasagar lava oil fields. And next is Sarma Valley. And the other offshore oil fields of the eastern coast are located in the offshore of Andaman and Nicobar Island, Gulf of Mannar, Baleshwar coast, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Natural gas. Natural gas is a mixture of gases which are rich in hydrocarbons. The gases like methane, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, etc. are found naturally in the atmosphere. But the natural gas reserves are found deep inside the earth. Natural gas is not used in its pure form. It is processed and converted into a cleaner fuel for consumption. Many byproducts are extracted while processing of natural gas, like propane, ethane, butane, carbon dioxide, nitrogen are the byproducts which are obtained from the natural gas. Natural gas is mainly used as a fuel for generating electricity and heat. It is also used as a fuel for boilers and air conditioners. Natural gas usually accompanies the petroleum accumulations, which means natural gas reserves are found deep inside the earth near other solid and liquid hydrocarbons like coal and crude oil, that is the petroleum. Natural gas is a naturally occurring hydrocarbon gas mixture consisting primarily of methane, but commonly includes varying amount of other higher alkalines and sometimes a smaller percentage of carbon dioxide, nitrogen and hydrogen sulfides. It is formed when layers of decomposed plants and animals are exposed to intense heat and pressure over thousands of years. So the coal, petroleum and natural gas are obtained from the decomposed plants and animals which are exposed to high pressure and temperature over thousands of years. Natural gas is used as a source of energy for heating, cooking, and electricity generation. It is also used as a fuel for vehicles and as a chemical feedstock in the manufacture of plastics and other commercially important organic chemicals. GAIL, GAIL India Limited. GAIL, GAIL, is formerly known as Gas Authority of India Limited. It is the largest state-owned natural gas processing and distribution company in India. So it is a Government of India undertaking company. It is headquartered in New Delhi. It has the following business segments such as natural gas, liquid hydrocarbon, liquefied petroleum gas transmission, petrochemical, city gas distribution, exploration and production, GAIL TEL, and electricity generation. GAIL TEL is the GAIL telecommunications services offered by GAIL India Limited. India has a very large proportion of tertiary rock and alluvial deposits, particularly in the peninsular India. Here the tertiary rocks means the sedimentary rocks which contains fossils are called as the tertiary rock. These tertiary rock and alluvial deposits are particularly found in the peninsular India, that is in the southern part of the India. These sedimentary rocks, which were once found under the shallow seas, hold the possibility of harboring oil and gas deposits. That is, the oil and natural gases, which were once found under the seabeds, now they have started to rise towards the surface of the earth through the cracks in the rocks due to increasing pressure in the underground. So therefore, this helps the geologist to find an area where the oil deposits can be found. The highest concentration of natural gas is found in the Bombay High and in basin oil fields. The other states where the natural gas reserves have been discovered are in Gujarat, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Rajasthan, Arunachal Pradesh, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, and West Bengal. The districts states where the natural gas reserves has been found is also given. Please go through the districts of the states where the natural gas reserves have been discovered. The Gas Authority of India Limited, GAIL. It is doing an excellent work in the field of natural gas exploration. That is, in discovering the places where the natural gas can be obtained. Discovery of gas has made a rapid growth in the year 1985. Oil strikes at Kaveri offshore, at Nanda in Cambay Basin, and Tarat in Jaisalmer Basin in Rajasthan were major discoveries during the year 1988 and 89. Recently, the natural gas exploration has been found at Krishna and Godavari Delta in India. Compressed natural gas, that is the CNG, which has the methane stored at high pressure. It is a fuel which can be used in place of gasoline, diesel fuel and propane, that is the LPG. In comparison to other fuels, natural gas possesses less of a threat in the event of a spill because it is lighter than air and disperses quickly when released. Natural gas vehicles are increasingly used in Delhi, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Pune, Kolkata, Lucknow, Kanpur, Varanasi, etc. Conventional energy sources. The sources through which energy is being tapped for a quite long period of time can be termed as conventional energy sources. For example, coal, petroleum, natural gas, nuclear are the major conventional sources for thermal power. The energy generated from conventional energy sources is also known as non-renewable energy because these sources keeps on depleting with usage and cannot be renewed. So therefore, it is called as non-renewable energy. First we will see about the thermal power. Thermal power. Thermal power describes how fast heat is produced. Most commonly, thermal power refers to the heat input to a boiler in a power plant in order to generate electricity. Thermal power is generated using fossil fuels like coal, diesel, petroleum and natural gas. National Thermal Power Corporation (NTPC) was established in 1975. At present, NTPC has 13 coal-based super thermal power projects and 7 gas or liquid fuel based combined cycle projects in the state of Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Mizoram and West Bengal. Thermal power accounts for over 90% of the installed capacity. Installed capacity is the amount of energy that a power station is able to produce. Tamil Nadu produces about 5% of the total thermal electricity produced in India. Neyveli, Mettur, Thoothukudi and Ennur, which is in Chennai, all these are the important thermal power stations in Tamil Nadu. Nuclear power. The energy released during nuclear fission and nuclear fusion is used to generate electricity. First, we will see what is meant by nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. When an atom divides into two or more smaller or lighter atoms, then it is called as nuclear fission. Nuclear fusion means when two or more atoms join or fuse together to form a large or heavy atom, then it is said to be a nuclear fusion. The heat generated during the nuclear fission or nuclear fusion process is used to generate electricity. Nuclear energy is generated mainly from minerals of uranium and thorium. Nuclear power program in India was initiated in 1940s when Tata Atomic Research Commission was incorporated in August 1948. The first nuclear power station was set up at Tarapur near Mumbai in 1969 with the capacity of 320 megawatt. Later, atomic reactors were installed at Rawatbata with the capacity of 335 megawatts and another at Kota in Rajasthan with 100 megawatts. And in Tamil Nadu, the nuclear atomic reactors were installed at Kalpakam and Kudankulam. In Kalpakam, the capacity is about 440 megawatts and in Kudankulam the installed capacity is about 2000 megawatts. Atomic reactors were also installed at Narora in Uttar Pradesh, Kaiga in Karnataka, and Kakarapara in Gujarat. The Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited (NPCIL) is an Indian public sector undertaking based in Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra district. It is wholly owned by the Government of India and is responsible for the generation of nuclear power for electricity. NPCIL is administered by the under the topic energy resources. We have studied about the non-renewable energy resources in the previous class. Now we will start with the renewable energy resources. The renewable energy resources are also called as non-conventional energy resources. Renewable energy resources are renewed or replaced or restored by nature in short span of time. That is, these renewable energy resources can be used again and again throughout its lifetime. Often, these are available continuously like solar energy, water, wind, biomass, etc. We will see in detail about the each type of renewable energy resources in detail. Even though there are many advantages over non-renewable energy resources, there are also some disadvantages. The one major disadvantage of non-renewable energy is that it is time consuming. That is the complete process, starting from mining of a coal, searching for oil, drilling, inserting pipes and extracting the natural gases are very time consuming process, and also it takes a lot of effort. And another main disadvantage is that it can be dangerous and cause respiratory problems to humans because sources like fossil fuels, when they are burnt, they emit gases such as carbon monoxide. We know that non-renewable energy takes billions of years in their formation. They are slowly but gradually depleting or vanishing from Earth. Now we will see how renewable energy resources overcomes the disadvantages of non-renewable energy resources. The renewable energy resources are renewed or can be easily restored by nature in a short period of time. Under the renewable energy resources, first we will see about hydropower. Hydropower or hydroelectricity refers to the conversion of energy from flowing water into electricity. That is, electricity is generated from the flow of water. It is considered a renewable energy resource because the water cycle is constantly renewed by the sun. So we know about the water cycle. The water bodies gets heated up by the sun's rays and they evaporate and cools up and condenses and later precipitates down as rainfall. So here the water cycle is constantly renewed. So therefore it is called as a renewable energy resource. Power generated from water is termed as hydroelectricity. Hydropower is the energy harnessed from running water. That is, hydropower is the energy generated from running water. Hydropower is considered as one of the most economic and non-polluting sources of energy. So it is very economic, easy to maintain, and therefore it is non-polluting. So there is no gas emission. So therefore it does not cause any pollution. It contributes nearly 7% of global electricity production. The cost of production of hydroelectricity is relatively low, making it a competitive source of renewable energy. It is also flexible mode of power generation, as the quantity of production may either be increased or decreased, very quickly adapting to changing demands. So the power generated through the process of hydropower, the quantity of production of electricity can be either increased or decreased based on the demands. We know dams are constructed across the rivers in order to control flood, store water, and also produce electricity by constructing an hydropower plant nearby the dam. Hydro plants produce electricity using turbines and generators. Electricity is also generated from the natural flow of water. India has a large potential of hydropower potential. It is unevenly distributed in India. Of the total hydroelectric potential of the country, the rivers of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Nagaland, and Tripura account for 30.4% of total hydroelectric potential of the country. And the eastward flowing rivers of the South India, that is the peninsular India, accounts for 20.9% of the total hydroelectric potential of the country. Westward flowing rivers of the Western Ghats contributes 10.5%, and the Ganga basin, excluding the potential of Nepal, contributes about 11.7%. The Indus basin contributes 16%, and the rivers of central India contributes 10.5% of the total hydroelectric potential of the country. The first hydroelectric power station in India was established at Darjeeling in the year 1897. Solar energy. Solar power is the conversion of sunlight into electricity, either directly using photovoltaics, that is PV, or indirectly using concentrated solar power, that is CSP. Concentrated solar power system use lenses or mirrors and tracking system to focus a large area of sunlight into a small beam. As you can see in the picture here, the concentrating solar power plants use mirrors or lenses to concentrate the sun's energy to drive the turbines, which in turn creates electricity. Thus, the thermal energy that is concentrated in a CSP plant can be stored and used to produce electricity when it is needed. The second method is photovoltaic, which converts light into electric current using the photovoltaic effect. The responsibility of Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Source (MNES) are market development, commercialization, and utilization of heat energy requirement for different applications in domestic, institutional, and industrial sectors. Solar power is used in water heaters, refrigerators, drying, street lighting, cooking, pumping, power generator, photovoltaic cells, salon parts, etc. Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh are the major solar power producers. Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited. It is located with its headquarters at New Delhi. Wind energy. Wind energy is extracted from airflow using wind turbines. It is a cheap and pollution-free source of energy. Power from windmills are used for pumping water and to sail propel ships. Wind power is plentiful, renewable, widely distributed, clean, and produces no greenhouse gas emissions during operation. These plants occupy only a less space. So, therefore, this wind power does not cause any harm to the humans and also to the environment. It is pollution free. The development of wind power in India began in 1986. The first wind farms were set up in the coastal areas of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu with 55 kilowatts Vestas wind turbines. Here, the Vestas means it is a wind turbines manufacturing company. So, the wind farms which were set up in Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu generated electricity of about 55 kilowatts. In the last few years, the capacity of the power generated by the wind turbines has increased significantly. India has the fourth largest installed wind power capacity in the world. Tamil Nadu has the largest installation of wind turbines in the country. The wind farm is set up in the area Muppandal in Perungudi near Kanyakumari. It is the largest concentration of wind farm capacity at a single location in the world. The National Institute of Wind Energy NIWE, Chennai, was established in Tamil Nadu in the year 1998 as an autonomous institution under the administrative control of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. That is, NIWE is an institute that is an autonomous institution which was established in the year 1998 under the administrative control of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. The main activities of CIWE includes resource assessment and testing and certification. Biomass energy. Bioenergy may be obtained through biodegradable materials like animal dung, kitchen waste, water hyacinth, agricultural residues, and city waste, etc. Biodegradable means the substances which are capable of being decomposed by bacteria or other living organisms is called as biodegradable materials. Biodegradable material in Tamil it is called as Makkum Portkal. These biodegradable materials are burnt in a combustor or a furnace to generate hot gas, which in turn runs the turbine to produce mechanical or electrical energy. As we have seen earlier, the biomass comes from a variety of sources which includes agricultural residues, animal waste, forestry residues, wood waste, industrial waste, municipal solid waste, and also water hyacinth, which is the water plant. Floating water plant is the water hyacinth, etc. So these are some of the sources of biomass. It is a clean and cheap source of energy. India has a potential of about 18 gigawatts of energy from biomass. Currently, about 32% of total primary energy used in India is derived from biomass. So, about 32% of the total energy used in India is derived from biomass. Energy derived from biomass is mostly used for domestic purpose. That is the household purpose. Tidal and wave energy. First, we have to understand what is meant by a tides and waves. Tides are the rise and fall of sea level. It is caused by the gravitational force exerted by the moon and the sun and also by the rotation of the earth. Waves. Waves are caused by winds. There are two main sources of ocean energy. They are ocean tides and ocean waves. First, we will see what is meant by ocean tides and how the tidal energy is generated. Turbines are installed below the sea level. We know that the tides come in and again when it goes out, the turbines are driven by the power of the sea in both directions. And this is how the power is generated by the ocean tides. Wave energy is the transport and capture of energy by ocean surface waves. The energy captured are then used for different kinds of useful work like electricity generation, water desalination and pumping of water. It is estimated that India possesses about 8,000 to 9,000 megawatts of tidal energy potential. The Gulf of Cambay is the best suited area with about 7,000 megawatt potential of tidal energy. This is followed by Gulf of Kutch with 1000 megawatts and Sundarbans with 100 megawatts. At present, a 900 megawatt tidal power is proposed to be set up in the Gulf of Kutch region. The wave energy potential in India estimated to be 40,000 megawatt. So the overall wave energy potential in India is estimated to be 40,000 megawatt and wave energy power plant of 150 kilowatt has been installed at Viringam near Thiruvananthapuram. And another power plant of this kind has been set up near Andaman and Nicobar Islands.